A man who relies on a woman's loyalty has already given away his power. Inspired by Schopenhauer on women. She didn't love you. She needed you. And there's a difference. You thought she left because something went wrong, because you changed, because you weren't enough. Wrong. She left because your use expired. They told you love is sacred, that women are loyal, that if you just gave more, sacrificed more, loved harder, she would stay. But here's the brutal truth. She was never yours. You were just her advantage. You weren't chosen for your soul. You were chosen for your value, your strength, your status, your momentum. And when that faded, so did her affection. This isn't romance. It's biology in disguise. Arthur Schopenhauer said it 200 years ago, and no one listened. Love is nature's bait. Loyalty is an illusion, and most men are sleepwalking into emotional slavery. This video will not comfort you. It will confront you, because once you see what's underneath the performance, the calculation, the instinct, the cold selection process, you'll never fall for the mask again. You're not here to chase love. You're here to wake up. Let's begin. Love isn't sacred. It's strategic. Let that sink in. You were told that love is pure, that it's built on emotion, not advantage, that if you're kind, loyal, consistent, she'll stay. That's a lie, a dangerous one. Here's the truth. Love is nature's marketing. The product reproduction, the target you. She doesn't love because it's beautiful. She is love because it works. And when it stops working, so does she. You thought you had a bond, you had a function. Her smile, a reaction. Her loyalty, a condition. Her love, a biological strategy wearing a romantic mask. You were useful until you weren't. And that's what no one told you. Not your parents, not society, not your therapist. Because if men knew love was conditional, they'd stop bleeding for it. This isn't about bitterness. It's about clarity. Schopenhauer saw it clearly. Love is nature's trick to get you to serve. Serve her. Serve the species. Serve the lie. You believed love was forever. It was never built to last. It was built to extract. The moment your strength fades, your value drops, or your edge dulls, her instinct recalculates. Not tomorrow. Not gradually. Immediately. So no, love isn't sacred. It's survival. And you were never chosen for who you are, only for what you could give. Let's cut the fantasy. She was never yours. Not her heart, not her loyalty, not her soul. She was only with you because it worked for her. You weren't chosen out of love. You were selected like a product, a momentary solution. Her advantage, not her devotion. You gave her your time, your energy, your loyalty. You thought it meant commitment. She thought it meant leverage. Because here's what most men never realize. You weren't her dream. You were her strategy. She didn't attach because of who you are. She attached because of what you offered: security, attention, status, protection. And when that offering changed, so did she. It wasn't betrayal. It was efficiency. That's why the shift felt cold, sudden, merciless. Because it wasn't emotional, it was evolutionary. You stopped serving her needs, so her instincts stopped serving you. You were a placeholder, a useful phase, a living solution to a temporary problem. And the moment your use dropped, her detachment activated, instantly. Stop saying, "I thought we had something real." You did, for her, for a while, but not forever, because she was never yours. You were just her advantage until she found a better one. And if you don't learn this now, you'll bleed for the next woman who sees you the same way. You thought she made choices based on love, values, or principle. Wrong. She's not moral. She's instinctual. That kindness, conditional. That loyalty, opportunistic. That connection, strategic. You operate from ideals, fairness, sacrifice, meaning. She operates from one question: does this benefit me now? You gave her love. She gave you a reaction, not a promise, not a code. a response to relevance. Schopenhauer called it out. Women aren't wired for justice. They're wired for adaptation. Her behavior shifts with her environment, not with emotional loyalty. She'll be sweet when it serves her, cold when it doesn't. She'll praise your strength when she needs it, and mock it when she no longer does. Not because she's evil, because she's efficient. You're looking for principle. She's scanning for advantage. You're thinking about building legacy. She's thinking about who gives her leverage today. And here's the killer. Even she doesn't always know why she feels what she feels. But her instincts do. Ancient, silent, ruthless. So stop projecting your code onto hers. She's not your mirror. She's your test. And if you fail to see her nature clearly, you won't just lose the game. You'll play it blind, bleeding, and confused, thinking it was love. You write poetry. She runs equations. That's the real divide. Men are dreamers. You fantasize about the woman who will see your soul stay forever and love you unconditionally. But she's not dreaming. She's watching, measuring, judging. You bring ideals. She brings a checklist. While you're busy proving your heart, she's evaluating your status. While you're opening up, she's calculating what you're worth socially, financially, genetically. This isn't bitterness. This is biology. Schopenhauer said it clearly. Men are romantics. Women are realists. You believe in connection. She believes in utility. You give love like a gift. She trades it like currency. That's why your loyalty doesn't impress her. That's why your kindness doesn't keep her. Because in her world, emotion follows advantage, not the other way around. She doesn't care how much you love her. She cares what your love can do. Can it elevate her, protect her, move her forward? And the second it doesn't, she resets. Cold, fast, without warning. You built her into a fairy tale. She built you into a plan. And now you're hurt because you mistook strategy for sincerity. Wake up. She's not cruel. She's just not living in your fantasy. She's surviving in her reality. She's not loyal to you. She's loyal to her best option. And the moment you stop being that, she's already scanning for the next upgrade. This isn't opinion. It's biology. Hypergamy is her factory setting. She's wired to choose the best available deal, strongest genes, highest status, maximum security. Not love, not romance, value. You thought she stayed because of what you shared. Wrong. She stayed because you made sense for now. The guy who had ambition, drive, edge. But once that faded, so did her loyalty. She doesn't even need a reason. Her body does the math without her realizing it. That's why she changed. That's why the warmth turned to distance. It wasn't personal. It was calculated. She's not looking at your heart. She's measuring your utility. You call it betrayal. She calls it instinct. And here's the part most men don't get. You don't have to fail to lose her. You just have to plateau. Once your momentum dies, her attraction dies with it. You gave her love. She needed leverage. You gave her consistency. She needed dominance. You thought you secured her. But hypergamy never stops scrolling, never stops comparing, never stops upgrading. You were a phase in her strategy, not the final destination. You thought the bond was real. You thought the memories, the laughs, the late-night talks meant permanence. But to her, that was just a phase that made sense at the time. Here's what no one told you. Her love has terms. Her loyalty has conditions. You confuse consistency with commitment, but her commitment, it expires the second you stop being relevant to her mission. You could have been everything yesterday. Today you're just a man who no longer feeds her emotional ROI. That's why she can kiss you in the morning and ghost you by night. Because what you call betrayal, she calls a pivot. Her attachment wasn't rooted in your soul. It was rooted in what you provided. Emotional safety. Only if you were still dominant. Presence. Only if you were still progressing. She loved you when it was beneficial. When it stopped being beneficial, She recalculated. Not slowly. Automatically. You thought she left because something broke. No, she left because the transaction expired. And the harsh part, you're still clinging to the past. She's already scanning for new momentum. So understand this now. Her love isn't sacred, it's situational. And unless you keep evolving, that bond you thought was unbreakable, it breaks without warning. She didn't cry when it ended. She cried weeks before when she already knew it was over. By the time she leaves, she's not emotional. She's efficient, because women don't break up out of nowhere. They detach in silence, plan in secret, and move when it's safe emotionally and logistically. While you were trying to fix things, she was already auditioning your replacement mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. You thought you were working through problems. She was building a runway. That's why it feels like she moved on so fast. Because she didn't move on after you. She moved on while with you, that best friend she kept mentioning. That just a coworker she said not to worry about. He wasn't new. He was next. She didn't fall out of love. She transferred it. And the cold truth, she needed you to still believe. Because as long as you thought it was salvageable, you wouldn't ask the right questions. You wouldn't see the escape route she already mapped. You're devastated. She's relieved. You're rereading texts. She's redecorating her future. You think she ended it. But in her mind, it ended months ago. You thought peace would keep her, being agreeable, accommodating, emotionally available. But guess what? Peace bores her. Polarity ignites her. She doesn't crave a man who submits. She's magnetized by a man who leads, who doesn't flinch, who holds his frame when she tests him. And yes, she will test you, not because she hates you, but because she needs to feel your edge. The moment you soften too much, she pulls away. Not because you were bad, but because you became safe, too safe. That emotional comfort you gave her. She respected it for a moment. But her biology doesn't want soft. It wants tension, polarity, masculine fire. You bring her flowers. She wants fire. You listen endlessly. She wonders where your spine went. You share your feelings. She starts losing attraction because now she's the emotional center. And once she becomes the man in the relationship, you're already out. She doesn't need another girlfriend. She needs a gravitational force. That's the paradox. The safer she feels, the faster she'll chase chaos unless you embody a strength she can't collapse. So no, she doesn't want harmony. She wants to feel your power. And if you can't bring that polarity, she'll find someone who will. She fell for your potential, your ambition, your spark. But here's the part no one warns you about. The same fire that drew her in will burn out if you stop feeding it. She saw your drive and said, "This man is going somewhere." But if you pause, if you hesitate, she won't wait. Because her attraction wasn't to who you are. It was to who you were becoming. The blueprint, the trajectory, the forward motion. The second that motion stalls, so does her desire. She's not built to honor the past. She's built to respond to momentum. You got comfortable. She got bored. You thought security would make her stay. It made her restless. She didn't change because she's ungrateful. She changed because you stopped evolving. Her instincts track movement. And when yours dies, so does her belief in you. You think love is about who you've been. She needs to see where you're going. You stayed in place. She felt trapped. You stopped growing. She started detaching. And once her belief in your future fades, she'll rewrite your entire past to justify walking away. You weren't the wrong man. You were the right man until you stood still. You let it slide. Again. And again. And now you wonder why she doesn't respect you anymore. Here's the brutal truth. Every time you betray your own standards to keep her, she loses interest. You taught her how to treat you by what you tolerated. That one time she crossed the line and you said nothing. That was the day the power dynamic shifted. Not in your favor. She doesn't hate you for setting boundaries. She tests you to find out if you actually have any. And when she finds out you're all talk game over, you think being flexible earns her love, but she's not looking for a yes man. She's looking for a mirror of strength. You bend. She breaks more. You explain. She escalates. You plead. She pulls away. Not because she's cruel, but because you failed her primal test. The test for dominant certainty backbone. Your kindness becomes weakness. Your understanding becomes submission. And before you know it, you're not her man, you're her emotional doormat. Respect isn't built by agreeing. It's built by standing tall when it's uncomfortable. Draw the line, hold it. Because the moment your boundaries evaporate, so does her respect. And once that's gone, everything else follows. You think being consistent makes her stay. You think always being available shows your love. Wrong. Predictability kills polarity. She doesn't leave because you failed. She leaves because you became easy to read. And the second she knows exactly what you'll say, do feel she stops wondering. And once the mystery dies, so does the attraction. You wake up, send the same good morning text, same emoji, same routine. You're not being stable, you're being robotic. You think reassurance is romantic. She sees it as emotional repetition. You stopped surprising her, stopped leading, stopped being a challenge. Now you're just there. And here's the twist, she'll never admit this out loud. But the men she can't fully decode, they haunt her, not the nice guy who replies in seconds, the one who makes her wait, wonder, question, mystery. Emotional tension, desire. And if you've erased every ounce of unpredictability from your presence, you've handed her the reason to detach. She's not leaving because she found someone better. She's leaving because she already figured you out. You were a puzzle. Now you're a pamphlet. So remember, this routine is safe. Mystery is magnetic. And only the magnetic stay. Stop thinking she wants to heal you. That she's here to nurture your broken pieces back into shape. That if you cry enough, open up enough, bleed enough, she'll stay. She won't. Because here's the part no one tells you. She's not built to carry your wounds. She's built to follow your fire. You think being vulnerable is enough. But raw emotion without strength, that's just chaos in a man's body. She's not staying because she pities you. She's staying because she believes in you. Not the sob story, not the excuses, not the man who almost became something. She wants to feel the victory in your presence, your discipline, your movement, your conviction. That's what turns her on, not your pain, your progress. You hand her your brokenness. She'll hold it for a while. But eventually, she'll start to feel like your mother, not your lover. And once that switch happens, you're done. She doesn't want to fix you. She wants to witness your rise, your dominance, your self-mastery. So don't cry to her. Climb in front of her. Because in the end, she doesn't chase potential. She aligns with power. The moment you put her first, you've already lost her. Sounds harsh. Good, because reality doesn't whisper, it slaps. She didn't fall for the guy who chased her. She fell for the man chasing purpose. The one too focused on his mission to even look sideways. The one whose vision made her want to orbit him. But the second you trade that mission for her attention, she feels it. And it turns her off. You think you're proving your love. She sees you abandoning your identity. You think you're giving more. She sees you becoming less. You start canceling workouts, skipping goals, softening your edge. All for her. And what does she feel? Pressure. To become your purpose. To fill the space where your fire used to live. It's suffocating and unfair. Because deep down she wants a man she has to catch up to, not one who sits beside her waiting to be praised. She doesn't want to be the reason you settle. She wants to be the reward you earn after you conquer. So here's the truth. She admires your mission more than your obsession with her. And if you ever make her your purpose, you'll lose both. She walked away. And now you're spiraling, drafting the perfect message, scrolling old pictures, replaying every mistake in your head. You're ready to say anything, do anything, just to get her back. Stop. Right. There. Because the second you beg, you're confirming her decision to leave. You're not showing love. You're showing lack. No woman is drawn to a man who crumbles without her. She wants to see what you do after she walks. Not how you fall apart, but how you rise. You think texting her at 2 a.m. proves you care. It proves she was your foundation. And without her, you're nothing. That doesn't pull her back. It pushes her further. Because now she sees the full picture. You didn't love her from strength. You clung to her out of weakness. Women aren't moved by your words. They're moved by your energy, your trajectory, your stillness in chaos. So stop the paragraphs, the over-explaining, the apologies on loop. Let her feel your absence. Let your silence speak confidence. Let your life keep moving. Because here's what she'll remember. You didn't chase. You didn't collapse. You evolved. And the man who doesn't beg, he's the one she regrets losing. Every time you explain yourself, you bleed power. Every time you react to her games, you surrender frame. Every time you rush to respond, you tell the world, you control my emotions. You think silence is passive. Silence is strategy. In a world where everyone overtalks, stillness is dominance. Let her send the bait text. Let her post that thirst trap. Let her wonder why you didn't bite. Because here's the truth. Men who talk less lead more. Men who react less command more. Every word you waste on proving convincing, justifying is a weapon turned against you. You think she'll stay if you keep showing how much you care. No. She stays when she feels your groundedness, your unshakable center. The loud man seeks approval. The silent man already knows. Don't match her chaos. Don't explain your standards. Don't defend your masculinity. Let your presence do what your paragraphs never could. When you become unreadable, you become unforgettable. Because power isn't loud. Power doesn't chase. Power doesn't flinch. So the next time they try to trigger, you don't answer, don't react, don't explain, just smile. And watch the world try to figure you out. You've been lied to. They told you love was about proving yourself, that if you were kind enough, soft enough, available enough, she'd stay. They never told you that the moment you stop leading, you start losing. This isn't about hate. This is about hierarchy. About the primal code that still runs underneath all our modern illusions. And in that code, she doesn't want to lead. She wants to trust. But only a man who leads himself can be trusted. You don't reclaim your power by arguing, or begging, or sending long texts at 2 a.m. You reclaim it in silence, in self-respect, in the quiet discipline of a man who no longer needs to be chosen because he's already chosen himself. This journey isn't about becoming colder. It's about becoming clearer, sharper, calmer, more dangerous not to others but to your own weakness. Because when you master yourself, you don't need to chase anything. You become the storm. You become the gravity. And when you become that man, she doesn't leave. She revolves. Don't fight for her attention. Become the man she can't look away from.